Hi, my name is Sebastian, and this is my final presentation for Genius Hour. And the name of my project was making a Roblox game, which hence the name. I made a Roblox game. I started by researching and learning how to use the Roblox Studio Engine to making a game. So yeah, here's the overview of what I did. Okay, so my overall goal was to practically start the first half of the Genius Hour, really getting comfortable with the engine and learning how to use it. And then the rest of well, originally it was only 3 weeks that I was going to be researching and doing stuff, but then I moved it to 5 weeks because it turns out it's harder to use than what I thought. And my goal was to, as I said, practically first search up and research what it truly means to code in Lua and how to use the engine. And I wanted to spend at least an hour looking at tutorials, articles, mainly stuff like the developer forum or other stuff. And my fourth goal was to start planning and finishing a concept for a game, which I did do eventually, but like yeah, it turned out to be much harder to find an exact concept I wanted for a game. And I finished up opting out for around week I think 5. I showed how I started planning and planned out a drag racing game. And technically, my goal was to get as far as I can, or try to at least finish a game, even if it's really simple. And really, after that, I was going to add more updates to the game and everything. So, yeah, I mean, and at the end of the day, I did finish making a game. It's not really the such a big game, or really the amount of player interaction that I wanted, but at least I got it done, and I could say I did finish my goals. And truly something different that I would do if I could do this project again would be like focus more on the game. It would have been like I would have given me much more time. And really I feel like I did develop some discipline and really started I learned a valuable lesson about not underestimating and putting things aside, because even small things like um mispronouncing or a typo can practically ruin all your whole game or code. So really the purpose of my project was to get started, or for me to start exploring the world of programming and putting stuff together. And also as the reason, it also goes into the reason why I chose to start this project was because I've always enjoyed playing these games, and I always wanted to make one of these games. And really also it's from what I've heard, it's a really good start to get into programming and really learning the difficulties and challenges that come with it. So I would say I did meet my goal, as I did finish my game, but some things or other goals that I really do want to work on or keep on working on is probably research and practicing and overall getting comfortable with the engine, as that was probably the part where I struggled the most. And really any some self improvement I had is probably problem solving, as there were parts of the project that were incredibly hard, and you know it I truly did have to like scour through a lot of stuff, look through a lot of forums, search different places. So that's something I did improve on. And really what I felt about this project is that I did like it. There were some parts that I overall disliked because there are some parts that I just couldn't understand. But at the end of the day, once I finished the project, I did love it. And if I would do this project over, or I would do something differently, is probably spend more time on the actual game, like spending more time focusing on what the actual code for the game is, or what the game actually is, and like concentrate on those parts and elements of the game. So I started off at first just by messing around with blocks and with the engine, exploring different codes, different types of codes and scripts. And at the end, I ended up with a game. And I am thinking of continuing this project, maybe start new ones similar to this one. And really, some growth I saw from since I began to where I ended was probably the progress, because I didn't really think I could really get this much or actually finish it. And some changes I wish I did was probably spend more time on actual research on mostly on stuff that I would have actually needed the most. Maybe focus on certain parts where I was stuck the most. And the most difficult part of my project was probably the scripting part of the project, because it is really hard to script and write code, and also there isn't a lot of resources out there for this type of code or these types of ways or engine, or this engine mostly. And one of the obstacles I had to overcome was probably finding resources, sometimes finding articles or finding ways to actually finish script, as there were many scripts or really properties that I didn't really know what they meant or what I had to do with them. So yeah, research was really hard since there isn't a lot of this subject out there. Okay, so from what I have shown in this video, I'm pretty sure I can prove that I have done a lot of work on this game. And when it comes to the research I made for the first 5 weeks, I truly did. It truly did help me, as I got really comfortable and I could cruise to the engine real quick and know what most things mean. Also, from what I'm showing here in this video, yeah, lots of these models that I made, like for example, the houses had a lot of parts in them. There was a lot of script and code that came into this, and yeah, a lot of this stuff I had to do a lot of research for. And so yeah, judging by all these factors, I would have said that I would have graded myself around a 3. Well, if we were judging from grade from 1 to 4, probably a 3.5. The reason for a 3.5 is because I really did progress in this. Like, I really did learn a lot. And I do think I did a good job on progressing and learning. But something I did lack on was effort, mostly because I turned in stuff late, which sorry that you had to deal with that, Mr. Bouvier. But yeah, I think that's one of my biggest weaknesses with that I had with this project was probably time management and effort. So yeah, other than that, I think that's it for my final um, presentation for Genius Hour.